This is a look at the May-June 2024 CSEC Biology Paper 1. You start with the usual instructions, hour and 15 minutes. This is the paper that just passed on 31st of May 2024. So this is the present exam season. Usual instructions up front where you are encouraged to choose the best answer. So we are getting into it. Which of the following features is used to classify a group of organisms as class Insecta? The distinguishing feature will be D, the number of segments. All insects should have three segments or three parts: head, thorax, abdomen. So number of segments be the answer for question 1. Question 2, living organisms such as plants are affected by abiotic factors which determine where they become established. Which of the following lists contains some of these determining factors? From reading through the list, abiotic factors are physical factors. They are not living factors. Yeah, so they are non-living factors. So you definitely want to go with sunlight availability, soil pH, and minerals, because it is plants that we are talking about, right? It said such as plants. Question 3. Which of the following correctly defines a niche and a habitat? The role of an organism, what it does is the niche, and the habitat is the place where it lives. And that falls into the A for question 3. Question 4 and 5 refer to the following food chain, which shows the feeding relationship in a freshwater lake. We have algae, larvae, eel, pike. So question 4 reads, which organism in the food chain is the secondary consumer? We have the primary producer, the primary consumer, the secondary consumer being the eel. So that makes A the answer. Question 5. Which of the following organisms in the food chain is the herbivore? The herbivore is the organism that eats plants, and we know plants is the start of the food chain. So that makes the larvae D, the herbivore. Question 6, a farmer notices pink mealybugs in his garden. He is advised to introduce the ladybird beetle to control the mealybugs. The type of relationship between the mealybug and the ladybird beetle is described as the predator and prey. One is feeding on the other to control its population. Question 7. Approximately 10% of the energy stored in food is available to the next organism in a food chain, because most of the energy is lost as heat during the process of respiration. There is energy lost as excretion, but it wouldn't be more than the energy lost as respiration. Question 8. Animals that are at the end of the food chain and that feed on dead and decaying organisms are called decomposers. The greatest threat to the survival of coral reefs is, they give you greatest in capital letters, so they don't miss it. They want the one with the most effect, right? The greatest. That will make it increase ocean temperatures. Yeah, and fits better than any of the other things. Increased levels of dissolved oxygen. That's not really a threat. Decreased greenhouse gases, well, that is the opposite of a threat. And decreased nitrogen levels. Water. So the answer for number 9 is B. Question 10, replanting trees on a bare hillside is an example of reforestation and restoration. Yeah, they told you it was replanting trees, huh? Replanting. Question 11. We have this graph which illustrates population growth, and it's divided into 4 sections. Phase 4 of the graph is most likely due to the population dying out. For some reason, the number of organisms are decreasing, and that's because of competition from invasive species. Question 12. Which of the following structures is found only in plant cells? And just reading the list, chloroplast, which contains the pigment chlorophyll, you know that is for plant cells only. Which of the following comparisons between the cell wall and the cell membrane is incorrect? So you're looking for one that is false. Just reading the first one, found in both plants and animal cells. A cell wall is not found in both plants and animals. So that is the correct answer, A. Question 14 refers to the following diagram, which shows a xylem vessel. We have the space, we have the cell wall, the gap. The major feature that is responsible for the rigid structure of the xylem vessel is the lignin in the cell wall. Okay. Question 15. In which of the following biological processes is diffusion involved? So we have 3 processes, and we have to check to see if diffusion is present in them. Food absorption, yes, that's simple diffusion in that. Urine formation, yes, when urea and the H+ ions, that's diffusion. Gaseous exchange, oh, yes, of course. Right, diffusion, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So 1, 2, and 3. So for 15, our answer is D. Question 16 refers to the following diagram, which represents a metabolic process carried out in plants. And anyone seeing this should be able to recognize that this is photosynthesis. Oxygen given off, the food being produced. They ask you what food is produced, and you know that as glucose. Question 16 is C. Question 17 refers to the following graph showing the rate of photosynthesis versus light intensity. They ask you which of the following statements best accounts for the shape of the graph. We have a graph going up. We have light on the x-axis, rate of photosynthesis. See, goes up, and then they give you the concentration of carbon dioxide. So which one best accounts for the shape of the graph? You see that this is a limiting factor. So no matter how much the light increases, it's limited by something else. And in this instance, they say carbon dioxide. So we want a statement that reads as such. And you should read all of them carefully. And well, 1 is out, A is out. B, as light intensity increases, the rate of photosynthesis also increases until a statutory phase exists when denaturation of the enzyme occurs. No, where do you get that from? So B is out. As the light intensity increases, there is an increase in photosynthesis until there's no further increase in the rate due to some other limiting factor. Well, so far that's true. As carbon dioxide levels gradually increase, there's a similar word. Carbon dioxide levels not increasing, they never said that in the graph. So 17 is C. Looking for question 18. Which of the following minerals is important for the formation of chlorophyll? Chlorophyll, a pigment very similar to hemoglobin. In hemoglobin, it's iron. In chlorophyll, it's magnesium. 19. An enzyme is best defined as a molecule which, and you read them carefully, increase the rate of a chemical reaction. That's true, but they ask for a best answer. So continue reading. Increase the rate of a chemical reaction, but remains unchanged at the end of the reaction. That's even better than A. So C is the best so far. Decreases the rate of a chemical reaction. No. Right? So it increases the rate. So C is the best answer for 19. We're going on to 20. Which of the following graph shows the effect of temperature on an enzyme-controlled reaction? And we're looking for that very familiar graph where the optimum temperature is around 40 degrees Celsius. So D is our answer. Question 21. A 50-year-old male is advised by his doctor reduce the amount of salt he consumes in his diet. If he ignores his doctor's advice, he has a high chance of developing. We know salt is linked to hypertension, so we are going with C. Item 22 refers to the following diagram of the respiratory system. We see the parts identified. This looks like the windpipe, the trachea, the ribs, the air sacs or alveoli, the diaphragm, which is labeled parts represent the ribs. We already identified it as B. Item 23 refers to the following equation, which shows the oxidation of glucose in cells. And we have this very familiar respiratory equation. The energy release from the process above is, read these carefully and make sure you pick the right one. Convert it to ADP, no. Convert it to ATP, yeah. Stored in high energy bonds in ADP. Nope, stored in high energy bonds in ATP, even better than B, right? So D, 23 is D. 24, which of the following is not an effect of nicotine found in cigarette smoke? Increase the heart rate. Yes, it does. Nicotine is a drug, a very addictive drug. Increased beating of cilia. Reduce oxygen transport by the blood. Yes, it does do that. Remember, we are looking for not one of the effects. Increased mucus production, cells lining the respiratory passage. Yes, it does do that. So the one that we were suspect about, B. All right, it reduces the beating of cilia. It actually kills some cells along the way. An amoeba obtains all its oxygen it needs by diffusion by its cell membrane, while a human needs to have special respiratory surfaces for this purpose. The best explanation for this is the human surface area to volume ratio is too small for diffusion to be effective. That is so very true. If you waited for diffusion to get to all your cells, you would be waiting an extremely long time. So 25 is D. Moving on to 26. In heart bypass surgery, using an artery to bypass the blockage is advantageous over using a vein because arteries are thicker, more muscular walls than veins. So, yes, that's the best answer. C. The events listed below are involved in the clotting of blood. We have the events identified here, 1, 2, 3, and Roman numeral 4. Which of the following is the correct sequence of events in the clotting of blood? And just reading them quickly, we know you have to start off with the blood vessel being damaged in some form or fashion. And that puts D being the correct answer. Yeah, because there's only one starting with the blood vessel being injured. Artificial immunity can best be described as immunity something. We want the best description acquired from the body's natural defense against it. Then it's not artificial. Artificial means man-made, right? So it's unlike someone get a vaccination or something. Produced by deliberate exposure to a pathogen. Does a vaccine, but let's continue reading. This has been passed from the mother to child in the uterus. That has been passed on to a child from the mother's colostrum. So B is obviously the best answer for 28. Item 29, under which conditions will the rate of transpiration in plants be highest? If you have bright sun and high winds, we're looking for that. That is B, sunny and high wind speed. In the transport of solutes in the phloem, the source is identified as any area in the plant where sucrose is loaded into the phloem. Yeah. So C is the answer. This is a good point to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. It's a good way to show your support and encourage us to release more of these videos. This is the June Biology CSEC 2024 paper 1 that recently passed. Do subscribe to the channel, and you could click that notification to be aware of other videos that we release in other subjects as well, because all of this is working together for getting that grade 1. So we are working for the 1. Which part of the plant contains the most starch? And we're looking at this potato plant, and if it's a potato plant, that should be a dead giveaway for us that we're looking at the potato parts of the plant, which is Roman numeral 3. So C is the answer. Which of the following is not a form of excretion in plants? We have carbon dioxide diffusing in through the stoma, substances being stored in the bark of the tree, water vapor diffusing out through the epidermis, calcium oxalate crystals being stored in leaves during leaf fall. Excretion is waste, getting rid of waste. So ideally it shouldn't be going in. So we're going with A. Which of the following correctly describes movement in plants? And plants, we know they move with growth, and it's usually part. The whole plant doesn't get up and walk away, and it's irreversible growth or part movement. 33 is C. Question 34. Locomotion is an evolutionary adaptation performed by animals. What advantages does this mechanism have over the types of movement that occurs in plants? 1, the ability to move to favorable conditions. Yes, yes. The increased chance of predator attacks. Why would it be an advantage to have more predators attack? So 2 is wrong, 2 is out. And the ability to find food. Yes. So we're looking for 1 and 3, which makes the answer for 34, B. 35, a very familiar question. The effects of light on a shoot under different conditions. And after a few days, the tallest shoot would most likely be the one that is covered where light can't penetrate. That causes an elongation of the cells at the tip. Because of an hormone. So we know light not passing through the foil cap. So we're going with 3. The answer is C. 36. The role of an effector is to do what? Detect a stimulus? No. Respond to a stimulus? Yes. Relay a nerve impulse? No. Create a nerve impulse? No. So the answer for 36 is B. 37. Item 37 refers to the following diagram of a spinal reflex. So that means we know it is going to the spinal cord we're starting at the sensory organ, which in this case is the skin of the hand. And they ask you, which of the following options give the correct names for the numbered structures? So if it's starting at the hand, that means 2 is a sensory neuron. Yeah, and we're looking for that. So we already see that the answer is C. Right? Which of the following are functions of the contribute to in the brain? That's some grammatical errors there. That question 38 should read, which of the following are functions attributed to the brain? We have maintains posture, cerebellum, maintains balance. Again, yes, the brain, cerebellum regulates temperature. Yes, the regulation of temperature has to do with the hypothalamus, part of the brain. So 1, 2, and 3, that makes D the answer. Question 39. Which of the following factors does not contribute to the development of glaucoma in the eye? Age, stroke, hereditary, vitamin A deficiency. Yes, age does increase the risk, so does stroke. You can, if your family has glaucoma, you can inherit the risk of having a glaucoma. So which of the following does not contribute to the development? So it has to be vitamin A deficiency. That should give you night blindness, not necessarily glaucoma. Yeah, although it does relate to the eye, we're going with this answer because all the others are very well known. There are vitamins, problems that could lead with the eye, especially if it was vitamin D, is would have been different, but we are going with D as being the answer for this one. Item 40 refers to the following graph, which illustrates a measurement of growth in living organisms. Which of the following labels would be incorrect on the y-axis? This is the y-axis here. So we have mass. Yeah, mass would be okay on the y-axis. Time, no, time should be on the x-axis already. We see that is incorrect. Length and number of leaves are factors for growth. They should also be on the y-axis. Item 41 refers to the following activities involved in the menstrual cycle. We have 1, repair of the uterine lining, 2, ovulation, 3, shedding of the uterine lining, 4, development of the Graafian follicle. Which of the following sequences represent the order of activities in the menstrual cycle? Looking at the orders they give here, we are going to go with C. This makes the most sense as the order of events. 42, the production of new organisms from one parent only is known as asexual reproduction. 42 is D. 43, we have 2 specialized cells. We have an egg and a sperm. Which of the following structures is common to both cells? Just reading the answers, we could go with the nucleus, C for 43. 44, which row in the following table correctly states the cause, treatment, control, and prevention of the disease AIDS? AIDS, you know that HIV, virus is in the name. So we know we rule out bacterium, A and B's out. Treatment, control, prevention, all of those are hints, you know, abstinence, monogamy. Nice, nice. So we arriving at 44 being B. 45 refers to the following diagrams of flowers from 2 different types of plants. Which of the following statements is true for the flowers? A, One is pollinated by a hummingbird. Yes, that's very likely. Nice large petals. If they drew this in color, it would probably have a color. And two is pollinated by the wind. See these dangling and nice feathery, right? So A is the answer. 46, which of the following shows the correct sequence for seed formation after fertilization? So we have to end with the seed and what's being fertilized. We know we starting off with the ovule. So the one that gives that for 46 is B. 47, a vector is defined as an organism that transfers the pathogen, it carries the disease-causing organism. Yeah, so D is our answer. 48, which of the following forms of birth control is most likely to be 100% effective? We are looking for a surgical method, tubal ligation. That is for females. 49, a 60-year-old man has been diagnosed with hypertension as well as diabetes. Which of the following treatments would be most effective for the diseases? Exercising and lowering the intake of salt and refined carbohydrates? Yes, surely. Spending more time watching television to relax? No. Starting a rigorous exercise program. Remember, he's 60 years old, taking insulin injections, but what about the hypertension? So, A for 49, which moves us into question 50. Which of the following best describes a chromosome? And it instantly drops out. Structure made up of DNA wrapped around histones. 50 is B. 51, which of the following are examples of asexual reproduction? Budding, yes. Binary fission, yes. Vegetative propagation, yes. So we're going with 1, 2, and 3. D for 51. Question 52. On a certain Caribbean island where sugarcane is grown, a fungus is accidentally introduced into the island and destroys the entire sugarcane crop. Which of the following best explains why the entire crop was destroyed by the fungus? Because they have no genetic diversity, which points to D. There was no genetic variation among the plants, so none could survive the attack. Yeah? Which of the following statements about meiosis is not true is what question 53 is asking. You just read the answers and you will see that it does not double the number of chromosomes in gametes. In fact, it halves it. So C is not true, which makes C the answer. If a diploid organism has two different alleles for the same gene, it is described as being heterozygous. It has two different alleles, so it is heterozygous. A. 55. Albinism is caused by recessive allele. Two normal parents produce an albino child. This is because if they are both normal parents and they produce an albino child, it means the albino person will get one recessive gene from each parent. So it means for them to be normal, they must have both the dominant and the recessive gene. They are heterozygous. Both parents are heterozygous. 56. Two goats heterozygous for fast growth rate are crossed. What percent of the entire F1 population would be expected to possess homozygous alleles? If they are heterozygous, it means it has a dominant and a recessive gene. So both goats have a dominant and a recessive gene, which means when you do a cross, it will turn out to be homozygous dominant 25%, heterozygous 50%, and homozygous recessive 25%. They are asking you for possess homozygous alleles. You know 2 out of the 4, which makes answer 50%. 56 is C. 57, variation in a population is due to mutation. Yes. Crossing over. Yes. Asexual reproduction. No. We're looking for 1 and 2 only. That is A for 57. 58, as a result of mitosis, each daughter cell has the same number of chromosomes as the parent cell. 58 is C. 59, which of the following descriptions is true of natural and artificial selection? And you just read them and make sure they're correct. Occurs in domestic populations. Nope. Natural populations, not the same as domestic populations, so that's not correct. Involves genetic modification. No, it does not. That's artificial. Produces great biological diversity. Yes, that's true. Read the next slide to make sure it matches. Produces very different organisms from natural populations. Yes, that's true. The answer for 59 is C. Final question. Item 60 refers to the following diagram, which shows stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the production of insulin by genetic engineering. And they're asking, which stage above can insulin be produced by the bacteria that when it's all finished for, which makes the answer D. Do leave us a comment to let us know how this paper was for you if you did the exam this year, because this is all for the one